Bystander intervention is basically, there's some theory behind it, lots of research behind it that's going to show that it's a way to empower entire communities to hold offenders accountable. It also creates a space in which everybody in that campus community has a way to hold one another accountable, not just for offending behaviors, but things like sexism, racism, homophobia, and all those different cultural aspects that make it so that sexual violence is able to be perpetrated in the end, and sort of those offenders sort of walk away from it without somebody questioning or holding them accountable for their behavior.
Our idea at Connecticut College in particular is all around changing that cultural shift so that we are an active community that sees every single one of us as a possible solution to this issue. That it's not just about educating potential perpetrators and potential victims, but creating an area where everybody is part of this as active bystanders.
Certainly athletics is a great example, Greek life is another great example, and there's also some evidence to show that sexual violence perpetration rates rise in those settings. So it's a place where folks have a lot of power in some ways, and a place, again, where folks are going to reinforce negative behaviors or stay silent about them to not sort of bear the wrath of the people around them.
It's important not to go in with the mindset of accusing everybody there of possibly being a perpetrator, and rather looking at them as allies and saying, listen, we know that the percentage is really small of people that are actually going to commit these crimes, and you are all part of the solution to help us eradicate that, because as working with athletes and working with men in general really proves that this isn't just a women's issue, that this is a human rights issue, and that we can all play a role in ending the violence.
It can't just be from the top down, from the administration down. It has to be from the kids on up. The kids, the professors, the athletes, the coaches, everyone involved living in these environments. I always say it should be a very safe ecosystem. It's the first time your child has really lived out in the world without curfews and all of the things that we impose on them as parents, and they're kind of learning how to make their way. And you want that to be as safe and as an environment as possible. So, I really feel that everyone needs to take ownership. The coaches, the teams, the social groups, the fraternities, when that behavior manifests itself.
At Connecticut College, we implemented Green Dot as a bystander intervention program back in the fall of 2010. And the idea is that no one has to do everything, but everyone has to do something. And so that is how we're going to create that large culture shift. And so over the past 4 years, we have had numerous students go through sort of an introduction speech about Green Dot, and then over 500 students have voluntarily gone through a 6-hour Green Dot bystander intervention training, and has created a community of Green Dot grads on campus, and has been really instrumental in working to change the culture at Connecticut College.
Here in Connecticut, we started in partnership with Men Can Stop Rape 2 years ago, started the Where Do You Stand campaign, which is specifically a bystander intervention model that engages men.
We have just recently signed on with the Where Do You Stand campaign. Fairfield University for a number of years now has been also doing a lot of work with the Fairfield Police Department with some bystander programs that we've created specific to our campus. We really take time to do a lot of our men-to-men programs. We're a Jesuit Catholic university, so we also access our Jesuit community on campus, along with our public safety officers, to work with our male population in particular, to bring awareness around some of these issues.
The campaign actually is going well. So we had the first year of it where we unveiled the campaign. We were able to get some key stakeholders involved. Senator Blumenthal was the first actual man to sign in Connecticut the pledge. And we certainly have lots of places. For example, Trinity College, we're training the entire baseball team, the entire football team on bystander intervention models, in a hope that, because they're also seen as leaders on that campus, what they'll be able to do is bring it back, the messaging back to the rest of the campus.
We can no longer accept that 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted in her college years. Would parents willingly send their teenagers to an institution where there is a 1 in 5 chance they would incur a serious, life-altering injury? We must also shift the role of men in this conversation. 3% of college men account for 90 to 95% of rapes. This is a critical number to understand. Men often feel as though they're being lumped together when we talk about violence against women. Educating everyone that these offenders are really a small part of the population can play a critical role in shifting this conversation and empowering men to be leaders in this conversation. While it is important that our colleges and universities have the best response to sexual assault and intimate partner violence, it is also critical that these institutions be at the forefront of preventing these crimes.